How I encourage people to balance their life with running a business and having a life and family is very much around looking at streamlining what they do. So when I talk about working with people on a personal and professional level, it's very much around what is a typical day? What is it that do you have children? How much time do you want to spend with them? What hobbies or activities do you have? How much time do you want outside the business or work hours? As much as what hours have you got to spend in and on your business? What hours in the day? And if people can streamline what they do within their business, it's surprising how much you can pack into a day, even if it's a short day, and working with people to help them manage work, children, family, home, as well as a business is doable. As much as some people think it isn't, it is, as long as you look at how you can work more productively, streamline what you do, and find the best way that you can work. And what I mean by that is finding when are you best, in the morning, on a Monday, on a Friday, and choosing those jobs perhaps that you resist the most, and picking a time in the day when you're more energetic, when you're more focused, and helping people to balance that. And by streamlining, they end up more productive, they feel that they've achieved more, and they've got more output, and because usually that means that they've generated more income. Success Factor services offer very much a holistic service, and what I mean by holistic is that I work with people on the personal level as well as the professional or business level. So it's around helping people personally on their work-life balance and how they manage family, children, home, as well as a business. In terms of the professional side, it's around helping people streamline their services, work more productively. We also look at the in and on the business. So this is around helping them working operationally on a day-to-day basis, becoming more productive and efficient, but also looking at that longer term strategic element. So the holistic is very much personal, professional, in and on the business. It's as much around how to help people take their business to the next level. And it might be a new business starting out, it might be a mature business, or it might be somebody that's considering setting up a business and they don't know how. They have an idea or concept and they'd like to get that off the ground. So wherever they're at in their business, or even if it's a concept, we'll work with anybody to help them get to where they'd like to be. For me, the most rewarding aspects of running a business is, one of the things, of course, is being your own boss and being able to enjoy the fruits of your labour, being able to enjoy everything that you've invested into your business and seeing that all that hard work has been worthwhile, and that you're seeing your business growing, you're seeing clients or customers happy. You then can reap those rewards yourself, instead of perhaps in an organisation where everything you do and all your hard work benefits others within the organisation and perhaps not you. And I don't always mean financially, but this is more practically and emotionally as much as anything. It's a wonderful feeling when you have this concept of setting up a business or growing a business into something that you've always dreamed of, and those dreams being materialised. To me, it's around being able to do something that you're passionate about, enjoying it, and it working out just as you planned and dreamed. In terms of what people should think about when they're considering starting a business, is very much around, is it going to fit their lifestyle? Because whatever they've done before and whatever they're considering doing, they need to really be thinking about how that's going to blend in with home and work. It's also around thinking about, how does this new business fit in the market? How many competitors are out there? Have they considered their point of difference, their unique selling point, their niche? And if they don't get that bit right and do their due diligence when they're considering setting that business up, that's when businesses can go wrong, because they're not showing their individuality and their uniqueness in the marketplace. Pressure points that business owners should be aware of is when things are not going the way that they had expected. And if, for instance, you have a plan and it isn't materializing and you're not achieving as best you can. If, for instance, those pressure points are that things have changed, whether it's in home life or in business, is really trying to identify what those pressure points are. When I'm working with business owners, one of the first things I do is to look at where are those pinch points, pressure points, red flags, problem areas, the worry warts, as I call them, and really getting people to become more familiar with what they are and aware of what they are. Because when we start with them, we can start to choose ways in which to address those. And that's really around setting goals, having smart plans and clear actions to be able to address those pressure points. If business owners are not good at something and they don't enjoy it, I work on two aspects. If somebody can afford to outsource and that seems a sensible way to go, then that's definitely the way to go. However, if they can't afford to outsource and they absolutely hate it, I work a lot with why. Why do you hate it? For example, cold calling. If people resist that, hate it, and avoid it, but it's an important aspect of your business and you're the only person that can promote your business, sell your business, talk about your services or products, then having somebody else do that may not be the best way forward. So to look at why do you hate cold calling? What is it that you lack confidence in or you hate? And to try and find that. So I work a lot on the why and to try and find what it is that people resist, hate, avoid, then we can tackle that. And that way they can still do it and maybe hate it less or even start to enjoy it. What I feel business owners should do if they're feeling overwhelmed is listen to ourselves, listen to our gut instincts, and be aware that we are feeling overwhelmed. And that's when I encourage people to reach out. Because if we try to continue when we're feeling that way, then that's when it isn't going to go away. So to identify that you're feeling overwhelmed and look at, okay, what is happening? What is going on? What is creating that feeling of being overwhelmed? And it's interesting that for some people it might be because they're not getting the sales that they want, or the business isn't growing as they'd hoped, or their plans aren't materializing as they hope. For others, it's because their business is growing exponentially and they can't cope with that. So there's various ways in which people can feel overwhelmed, but often it's like, I'll keep going, I'll keep going, I'll keep going, and we can't sustain that for too long. And so reaching out for help, but also identifying when people are feeling overwhelmed, I think is that first step, and then looking at how we can address those points. The importance of goal setting to me is, I mean, you fail to plan, plan to fail. And for me, it's very much around, if you don't know where you're going, then how do you know you've got there? If you don't know the destination, how do you know how long it's going to take you? I use the analogy quite a bit of driving a car. Usually when we get in the car, we have a destination in mind, we know what vehicle we're going in, we plan for it, we know how long it's going to take. And similarly with a business, we very much need to know what is the ultimate goal, what is the ultimate plan. And if we set goals and we set plans, then at least we know what the end result is that we expect, and we can break that down into doable chunks. And for me, it's around having those measurables. We've got a way in which to see, are we on target or not? And if we're not, then what do we need to do to change it? Have we gone off the path, and how do we bring that back? So it's very much around, if we set goals, then we need to be able to achieve them. The other thing is that with goal setting, for me, there needs to be an emotional benefit. If there's not an emotional benefit, we're less likely to achieve our goals. So there needs to be something in it for us. So when we're setting goals, not only do they need to be smart, but they need to have that emotional benefit so that we have some incentive, some reward that we will receive emotionally to help us achieve that. Good method for goal setting is very much starting with that vision of our ideal and where we would like to be. And if we start with that end point in mind, then we've got something to work to. And then what we can do is break it down into those manageable bites. And I always try and get people to work with creative exercises so that we're working on that visual side to picture what it's like, rather than the lists and writing, into business plan templates, because when we start to work on how do you see it, where do you see yourself, what does the business look like, where do you see the business going, to me that's more exciting, it's more motivating, because people often can picture it but they may not know how to put it into words. So trying to work with people on the visuals and being creative about that, then you can start to say, okay, how do we achieve that vision, how do we achieve that goal? And that really just helps people keep that motivation, because it's almost like having a vision board. If you've got that there, then that's the picture that you're aiming for, and having that reminder starts to bring about those good feelings for us on a day-to-day basis when we might be struggling with some of those difficulties on any given week. And so keeping that end result in mind is a great motivator.